Alrighty then. So, I wanted to record something because I didn't want to have to sift through a bunch of royalty free music to play over this. I mean, royalty free music isn't terrible per se, and nothing against people who make royalty free music. I'm sure a lot of it's, you know, fairly decent. And that one guy, Mew, I like his music, but I don't think it really fits with this, you know what I mean? It's for more like horror, creepypastas, things like that. But regardless, I did have something I wanted to talk about. And that was how or why I don't believe in talent. I don't believe in a talented artist. I don't believe that people are born artists. I guess some people might be born with a natural affinity for it. But in order to be a truly great artist, no matter who you are, no matter your circumstances, you have to practice. It all comes down to practice. And to emphasize that with an anecdote, clearly the strongest of all evidences, I will share my story as an artist. At least the beginning of it, how I started as an artist. Because believe it or not, I wasn't born able to draw this. When I was 9 was when I guess I started really understanding that I loved art and I loved to draw. I would draw comic books all the time, and they were really terrible comic books. It was like one picture per page, and it was all in notebook paper because I never really had sketchbooks growing up. I had a ton of notebooks. I don't know, my mom never bought sketchbooks, just notebooks, and that's where I drew. And it felt normal to me because I didn't even know sketchbooks existed, or I'd drawn like copying paper. But early on, I drew a ton of comics, and most of the comics featured Pikmin. That was a game that I was really into back in the day. And later on, the last two comics I did were an anthropomorphic mushroom comic, and a stick figure comic. It was like a cop comic. It was like three detectives as they were trying to decipher this murder, and they came across like a huge gang, and it got ridiculous. I took a lot of inspiration from shonen anime like Dragon Ball Z, of course, and Bleach, of course. Not necessarily Naruto or One Piece. I haven't ever really watched those. But then in high school, I stopped drawing comics as I got more into anime. And I started noticing the anime aesthetic, and I really loved the art style. And the anime art style still inspires me today. I wouldn't say that I draw anime per se. Maybe some people might, but some people's definition of anime is a lot looser than mine. Looser? Or is it more loose? I don't know. One day in high school, freshman year, I showed my friends, and one of them was an artist too, except he would draw like stick figures as well. But his stick figures were really good. They were so much better than mine. I couldn't believe that you could draw stick figures that well. I tried to show them my stick figure comic because that was the most recent. I made that when I was like 12, 13, I don't know. And he wasn't too interested in it. In fact, none of my friends really were. And that kind of got me a little demotivated in making comics. So I'd really just copy anime. I wouldn't really trace the anime, and I wouldn't really draw the anime myself. I would look up pictures of characters that I thought looked good, like Zangetsu from Bleach, or Alucard from Hellsing, Vash the Stampede from Trigun. I attempted Yagami Light from Death Note, but he didn't really come out too well. Usually when I copied something, it came out looking really like it looked true to the picture. It was I only used graphite, so it wasn't colored, but the values, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about values without even really knowing it. But it tended to look good, not always. Light didn't really come out looking too good. But even back then, in high school, I was known as the artist, and I told everybody that I was the artist, and I told myself that I was an artist, that I could draw, and I could draw well. But every time I sat down and tried to draw from my head, like an original character, or anything that wasn't already drawn by a professional, it would never come out looking good. It always came out looking really, really bad. But I chalked that up to, man, I don't even know. I was delusional. Completely delusional. I thought that I could draw, but I really couldn't. Well, one day, I noticed that artists were getting a particular amount of praise in this particular forum, and I wanted to, jump on that. So I drew up a quick, rough sketch of something, just really quick and really rough, and I mean really rough. And I took a crappy picture in yellow light bulb light with like a shadow of my hand and the phone covering all over the drawing, and it was just absolutely horrendous. Like I'd cringe if I did something like that today, but then I was ignorant. I didn't know. And I posted it to the forum and said, hey guys, check me out. Check out my style. This is really quick and rough and crude, but I'm just going to show you guys my style. See if you like it. If you guys want anything else, just let me know. And I got a couple of people complimenting me. Not too many, but, a couple. But one guy in particular really told the truth. He said what I did was really bad. And I was like, what? But I can draw. I'm really good at drawing. I'm an artist. Look, I wasn't really trying that time. That was really quick, and I wasn't really, it was a crude sketch. Let me draw something and actually take my time with it so that you will know that I'm really an artist. And I drew something and I took a whole lot more time on it. And it came out looking a whole lot better, but it still wasn't good. And the guy never replied. And that really hit me in a way. Not just the fact that he didn't reply, but the fact that he said that my first one was really bad and I made this one so much better, and he didn't even bother to reply. He didn't say, "Oh yeah, never mind, man, you're pretty good." He didn't say, "Oh, that one's terrible too." He just flat out didn't reply. And it got me thinking, maybe I'm not an artist. Maybe I'm not good at drawing. But instead of letting that get me down in the dumps, pitying myself, I decided I'm going to try now. I'm going to learn how to draw, because apparently I didn't know before, but I want to know. And I started comparing my work to actually good work. And that's a very dangerous game, to compare your artwork to somebody who draws better than you. I know it hurts a lot of artists when they see that this younger person can draw 1,000 times better than them, and it really hits their self-esteem as an artist. But in my case, it kind of snapped me out of my delusion, and I was able to see, yeah, my art isn't good. But I still had that drive, that burning passion. I still wanted to draw, but now I want to draw well. I want to draw something and have someone say, "That looks good, not terrible." I don't want them to lie to my face. I don't want them to lie and say, "Oh yeah, that's good." And I don't want them to have to tell me the truth and say, "Oh yeah, that's terrible. You're a terrible artist." I want them to tell the truth, and I want them to say it's good. I want them to be wowed. So I stopped making comics for the longest time. And I just practiced. And it wasn't very fun. It was pretty grueling, actually. I didn't enjoy most of it. But, well, here I am now. An artist. I can draw. And I actually think I can draw fairly well. And it's about time that I start enjoying it again. I think I've put in the work to be able to do that. I mean, I did enjoy drawing this. I enjoy drawing all my recent, but I need to start making comics again, because storytelling, sharing a story with meaningful interactions and a fun plot, that's really what I want to do. So that's what I'll do. And you can too, with dedicated practice. Thanks for watching.